I have been dreading doing this video, but it is true. We lost the house. Welcome back to the Freeway Flippers. I'm Liz, and in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why we decided to walk away from the house we were going to buy once the inspection was complete. Make sure to stay till the end when I let you guys know exactly what our new plans are going to be after we leave this vacation rental, because we do have to be out in like 10 days. So in the last video, Casey and I were very excited to share the news that we did find a house. We had been house hunting for about 2 months in the Phoenix area, and we were really starting to lose hope. And then we kind of changed up our search a little bit. Before we were kind of looking for downtown areas. Then as we started looking at those, it really didn't feel right. RVing really taught us that we like, the views and being, in a more quiet area. Living in the city just wasn't going to fit us at this point in our life, but it took going to those locations and looking at that type of house to really figure that out. So then we started looking in the East Valley of Phoenix. The area was Apache Junction, and we found a house that we loved. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,240 square feet. It had a storage unit in the back, fenced in for the dogs. It was on over an acre with beautiful views of the Superstition Mountains. It seemed like it was going to be a great house. Going into it, we already knew that the house was old. It was the original owner, so we were anticipating a lot of fixes, a lot of them probably being cosmetic or just things that we would want to change. We know that when you buy a home, it's never gonna be 100% perfect. There's always gonna be money that you're gonna put into it, but we weren't expecting the inspection to come back with everything it came back with. So I'm going to share exactly what came back in the inspection, which really influenced us to then decide to walk away from the property. So there was a lot of things that came back in the inspection. Of course, that's the inspector's job, is to find things wrong with the house. And they do. They put some stuff that it's just like, that's not that big of a deal. But it was really the major things that were wrong with the home that it left a really bad taste in our mouth and really made us not want to buy this house anymore. We knew the AC unit was going to be old and most likely going to need replaced eventually. But when the inspector was doing his test on the AC unit, it was not blowing like it should. We live in the desert. It gets really hot. It gets up to 120 degrees. I need a house with a working AC. One of the things we asked the seller to do was to provide documentation or proof of when he had it serviced, and that was something he couldn't do. So we really didn't like the idea that we were going to have to buy a house and then have to stick a brand new AC unit, which they range anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000. The electrical panel outside actually had some exposed parts to where the inspector didn't even want to lift up the lid in fear of getting shocked. Any fixes to an electrical panel probably needs a licensed electrician. The next thing was the roof had granule loss on the shingles. We had a licensed roofer come out and check it out. It ended up being hail damage on the roof that the seller never filed a claim for. You need to get that fixed because it can lead to other problems like a roof leaking. So that was going to be to fix it. I'm not sure how much they were going to charge, but they recommended a full roof replacement, which was going to be $10,000. So the roof over the master bedroom, actually, there were supposed to be support beams every so many feet. They were missing them. And the inspector also noticed that there was some water damage in that area, which made us think, I wonder if it's because the guy didn't replace his roof. Where else is there going to be water damage? And then there were a couple little things that we were like, as a homeowner, why would you do that? The electrical outlets, the hot and neutral, were switched. So they recommended a professional electrician coming out, not only to fix the panel I mentioned earlier, but also to fix that. And then 2 of the windows, well, the windows are single pane, so we would eventually want to invest in double pane windows. But 2 of them had cracks, like literally, like somebody threw a baseball and it was cracked in the window. And then finally, the storage unit that has the washer dryer, he had the piping going out into the yard and underneath and just letting the gray water go to the yard. So that was another thing that we're like, probably want to make sure that when you have anything that's coming from, you know, your appliances, your sinks or wherever, your bathroom, that the plumbing is done correctly and going to the right places. The master bathroom, the countertop, which we didn't notice until we were going through with the inspector, you could actually lift up on the counter in the master bath. It wasn't even glued down. And then the piping under the sink, you could tell was just replaced by the seller. When he replaced the toilet, this is a kicker, he even used the old wax seal. Those were just some of the fixes that were like, do you take pride in your home? So even after the inspection came back, we, went back and forth, Casey and I, and we still wanted the house. I mean, it was a house that we felt was perfect for us. So we asked the seller to fix those items or replace some of them. And then in lieu of that, we would take $10,000 towards closing costs. And you know what the seller came back with? Nothing. He wasn't going to agree to anything. So that left an even worse taste in our mouth after he came back and wasn't even willing to fix. I mean, we understand. Maybe you didn't want to fix everything, but at least fix the things that are kind of dangerous, like the electrical panel. Just make sure that when you are handing over the keys, that you're handing over the keys to a house that's in good condition and livable condition. But it's his choice, it's his home. And after thinking about it, and we were going to spend $355,000 for a 1,240 square foot house and then acquire it and have to put in at least $20,000 in repairs, plus another 20 to 30 to get it to where we wanted it to be in terms of what we wanted to add to the land. I mean, it was on a large acre lot, so we were thinking if we cleared out the lot next door, we could put in some RV spots, give back to the RV community. We had a lot of ideas for it. So once we really put the numbers on paper, gotten rid of a lot of our savings, and we would have been stuck in a mortgage again. Casey and I decided that right now, the best thing that we can do is just sign a year lease. So we did find near downtown Gilbert, a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's 700 square feet or less than 700 square feet. So it's really small. We're only going to be paying about $1,250 a month with utilities and rent. Just living very inexpensively is going to allow us to save money. So then once we do find the right home, we will have more to put down and we will have more to really make the house what we wanted. And we will definitely be looking for a house that doesn't have a lot of these issues, because you don't want to acquire a money pit. A home is a huge investment. So we're really excited for having an actual place to live for a year, having roots again, and I think that we're making the right decision. We didn't want to feel rushed into a home, and we didn't want to buy one that we felt wasn't a good investment. So that's kind of where we're at right now. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm Liz, and I'll catch you on the flip.